Damn. Rumors everywhere. And it's going to get more insane by the day. 4 more days until the NFL draft, and the Eagles are ready to cook. They are ready to use those 2 first-round picks, but so many rumors right now on acquiring a trade for a player, which helps this defense or helps this offense. There is some King Henry news, guys, and I kind of want to wait a little bit on this news to see what would transpire throughout the day on some other tweets or something like that, and I kind of want to go over all of that and what it means and to see what you guys think about it at the end of the day. So let's get into all of this news.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? So yeah, the King Henry news has been out for at least a day. I want to see if any more news is going to transpire because of this, and there's been a couple things that are pretty weird about it, but I gotta say, this looks kind of promising in some ways, and then there's other things where I've seen stuff like this before in the past, and this could be blown up smoke at the end of the day. Now, a tweet did come out at 3 a.m. yesterday. Yeah, 3 a.m. Like, why would someone be tweeting this at 3 a.m.? And from the most random person, you know, Akbar. I don't know if you guys know him. We'll talk about him in a second, but he did put out a tweet saying, "Move out the way, Derrick Henry to the Philadelphia Eagles," which is kind of nuts. And obviously, like, if this actually happened, yeah, I would absolutely love it. And for a few reasons, I wouldn't love it, but we're going to get into that later. But if you don't know who Akbar is, obviously that is his Twitter page. If you haven't followed him, want to kind of follow up the news on him, a defensive end in the past, in the NFL. And weirdly enough, he actually shares the same agency as Derrick Henry. So maybe he knows something behind the scenes we don't know. Now, no other tweets have came out from him since that last one we did see, but it's kind of ironic. Out of any guy or reporter, this guy puts out this news, and I think it's just the weirdest thing in a really positive way, though. Now, if you don't know who Akbar is, okay, he's actually one of the co-hosts on American Ninja Warrior. I don't know if you guys ever watched that show. It's pretty much always on TV on the lower channels, and I love the show. I wish I could play in it, but I'm too fat, so I can't do it. But that is him. And yeah, this is kind of crazy. Even at the end of the day, like, A.J. Brown is even trying to get Derrick Henry to Philadelphia. I mean, he's tweeting out, like, bring number 22 here. You know, that number is available right now since Marcus Epps is not here, which I thought was pretty cool. So, obviously played with A.J. Brown. So, 2 guys sharing the same agency that put out the tweet is kind of insane, okay? Now, what are the Eagles going to do here? Okay, so what could this be the actual move that they've wanted this whole time? If you guys remember, like a month and a half ago, probably like a month ago, there was rumors that teams were calling for Derrick Henry. Now, I think that the Titans actually want to move on from Derrick Henry because I think they'll save some money. I think it's like $6 million. We need to know if this is going to be a pre-trade, a post-June trade, so I don't know what's going to happen here. But, obviously the Tennessee Titans have a new GM right now. He could be changing his ways. The Tennessee Titans have been trying to build around Derrick Henry, which you never build around a running back. That's just, I don't know what type of thinking that is. Obviously, he's a very good talent. I mean, even with a bad offensive line last year, he still got 1,500 yards. I mean, literally injured offensive line and still got 1,500 yards. He had the 2,000 yards in 2020, so he's been a very productive running back for a long time. Now, he is 29 years old. We have to take that into account as well. Would you rather draft Bijan Robinson, or would they go this other route, get Derrick Henry, and, maybe see what's going on? You know what I mean? So, obviously, there are some pros and cons about both situations. Obviously, there's a lot of Eagles fans that don't want Bijan Robinson to be drafted at 10 because everyone thinks it's a wasted pick, and we could be drafting more defense. But people aren't understanding the whole situation of how powerful this offense can be. What's still intact right now is giving Hurts more weapons on the field. And obviously getting Bijan Robinson is kind of crazy right now. But other news that did come out, another tweet that did come out is the plan B of this whole situation. Now, it says that Kendall Beck on Twitter said there's definitely some truth to the Derrick Henry report rumor. It's way too random for it not to hold some weight. If something was to happen, it likely wouldn't come until post-draft. Henry could be a plan B if they don't land their guy Robinson or Gibbs in the draft. So this tweet I thought was really interesting. So who does Akbar know within the agency that knows that this trade is happening or going down? I could definitely believe that this could be a plan B move, because there's already rumors about Robinson going to the Atlanta Falcons at 8 right now. There's already rumors about that. The Patriots at 14, even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 19, but they might move up and try to get him. So depending on how the inside the top 10, how that works out, how many teams are going to move up for quarterbacks is going to be interesting to see how that board really falls to the Eagles at 10. Now, the Eagles are sitting at 10. The Titans are sitting at 11 right now. Now, there has been rumors about the Titans wanting a quarterback. They've been wanting to move up for one, because I don't think with the new GM in the building now, probably doesn't like Malik Willis. I don't think they're really giving him another chance. Sounds like they really want to get another quarterback in the building since they're in a position to do so. Even at 11, they have some draft capital and they could probably get something done. Now, if the Eagles really wanted Derrick Henry that badly, they could trade back one pick, not give the Tennessee Titans, not get a mid-round pick back from the Tennessee Titans, but say, hey, we'll trade back with you, move up one spot, you're closer to getting your quarterback, and now with the Philadelphia Eagles, they could just acquire Derrick Henry with his $10.5 million with one more year left on his deal, which is very easy. I mean, if it's $10.5 million for 1 year, they could sure spread that out or rework his deal, because Howie Roseman can do that. Just remember, guys, the Jalen Hurts contract has no effect, really, because for the next 2 seasons, this year and next year, Jalen Hurts' cap hit together in 2 years is only $19.5 million. It's absolutely insane. I mean, Howie Roseman is just howieing these contracts, and I love when he howies these contracts. But when you look at the situation here, yes, would I rather draft Bijan Robinson or trade for Derrick Henry? I would rather draft Bijan Robinson because you have a guy guaranteed here for 4 years, and obviously with a 5th-year option intact as well. And another weapon for Jalen Hurts is younger, no big cap, and he's going to be cheaper than Derrick Henry, really, at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So I do, and obviously when you go to that 5th-year option, no teams want to give running backs long-term money. It is cheaper on a 5th-year option for a running back to just franchise tag him for the year than literally. I'd rather franchise tag Bijan Robinson for $10 million instead of paying a guy, 20 something, 30 guaranteed for $55 million, if that's really the whole deal, or 40 million, whatever the case may be, for a running back long term, because there's really no market for running backs. I mean, obviously the Eagles could have brought back Miles Sanders. He only got $6 million a year, but Nick Sirianni, Miles was part of the other coaching staff with Doug Peterson. He wasn't part of the new Nick Sirianni era. So obviously, they were trying to get CMC the past, obviously last year at the trade deadline. They put in a draft pick. They couldn't get him, and they tried to get him in that draft to move up to him at 14. So they've always wanted that bigger type, elusive type back, for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Derrick Henry, yeah, it would be an absolute dream to have him run behind this line. Now, I understand that Derrick Henry, there are cons to this because he is 29 years old. I think he has at least 2-3 good years left in him as of right now. I mean, I think he's run the ball a lot. I mean, so obviously as an average back, he's getting over 320, 330 carries, a season, which, that's what these guys are getting every single year. But getting 1,500 yards with a really bad offensive line last year is showing what he can actually do. We know Derrick Henry's a really good player, but getting a 29-year-old running back is not, my favorite thing I want to do right now, especially since Hurts just got that contract. Why not pair him up with Bijan Robinson that's getting a fresh contract with the Eagles, and they play together? You know what I mean? They play together every single year on 2 brand new contracts, and that's what I would really like. Whether they get Bijan or they get Gibbs, whatever the case may be, I would be happy with both of them. But so there has been no other tweets going into this whole entire thing. Really, the only one we got that was legit, or at least somewhat what we're kind of holding weight to right now, is Akbar tweeting that Derrick Henry is on the way to Philadelphia to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. So this could be a plan B trade. If the Eagles cannot get their hands on Bijan, this could be an after the draft type trade if that's what they want to do. Okay, and I wouldn't be, you know what? I wouldn't be discouraged over it. I wouldn't be mad about it. Obviously, everyone, knows I love Bijan Robinson. If they don't draft him now, do I think they're going to draft him? I don't know. But, I'm hoping that they're going to. And if they don't, life goes on. So this could be a plan B trade after the draft. And like I said, we're going to see, if in the first round, if we see Bijan's taken from another team, the Eagles aren't aggressive here, okay? And they stay where they are at 10 or they move back, whatever the case may be. But if they're going after, okay, if they're trying to get a Derrick Henry trade done on draft night and they get it done, I think they try to move up. Okay, I think they try to move up for Jalen Carter. I think that's going to be what they want. Obviously, Jalen Carter, we all know the news that he's not visiting teams outside of the top 10 and hasn't been. He's visited Seattle. He's visited the Bears, the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he's visiting one. I think the Lions could be another team. I'm not really sure, but I think Seattle might get him, pick him up at 5, and that's kind of really scary right now. I want the inside the top 10 to be as busy as possible with teams trying to trade up and really make a mess out of inside the top 10. The Eagles are right on the line, lurking in to see what's going on. I think they're in a really good position right now because to move up a couple spots, it's really not going to cost that much. Potentially, they could lose all 3 players, Bijan, Jalen Carter, Will Anderson. It could happen. So what do you do after that? That's the question I have for the Philadelphia Eagles. What do they do if they lose all 3 of the top 3 talents that are in this draft? And they make the trade for Derrick Henry. So like I said, I feel like if Derrick Henry is on the table right now, the Eagles are out of reach for Bijan. I think this decision will either be made before the draft or the night of the draft, like right before the draft happens, or they're going to see how the board falls with Jalen Carter to really designate themselves to make this trade for Derrick Henry, and then they go after Jalen Carter with that first pick and move up a little bit. The Eagles have draft compensation. They have a 3rd round pick this year. They have no 4th, 5th, 6th round picks. They have an extra 2nd round pick next year, which I don't think you're going to need that anyway, but you have 4 comp picks, 11, 12, 13 draft selections next year, whatever the case may be, because you can trade comp picks as well. I think you can, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we haven't heard really nothing much besides this. And everybody's kind of tweeting at Akbar right now saying, dude, you put out this tweet. What do you know? What's going on? Now, it's so weird because this is from such a random dude. Just a random dude saying this. And that could actually be a good and a bad sign. Bad because, he's not a reporter. He's not official. But good because it's so out of left field to where he must know something inside, okay? And to know that Akbar and Derrick Henry are part of the same agency, and he might know somebody on the inside that knows some news about the Eagles going after Derrick Henry and making this trade happen. That could be a big thing that you really can't ignore. So it's a bad thing, but you know what? You gotta still fantasize about it and try to go into this whole thing saying there could be a big decision to be made at the draft here. Okay, they could already make their decision that they trade for Derrick Henry. They can make the decision that they draft Bijan and just let this thing go. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. Now, draft compensation-wise, what are you giving up for Derrick Henry in a trade? I honestly don't know. I don't think he's worth the first unless he was younger, a lot younger. Not even a 2nd-round pick. Maybe a 3rd is the most I'd give up from this year's draft. If they're going to get maybe a 3rd-round pick, if you want to use that 3rd-round pick on Derrick Henry, I know it's tough to do that for a 29-year-old player. He will be 30 in January, okay, early January. But, maybe a 3rd to a 4th, maybe a 3rd. I don't know. I mean, a 3rd-round pick is probably the highest I'd give them. If they want more, I'm kind of closing the book on it because it's just not worth it. But Derrick Henry in this offense for this year, though, as well as Bijan, and I've talked about this about Bijan Robinson in this offense too, okay? I think with a nice rotation just for this year, Derrick Henry will have less snaps this year, okay? He's not going to get the ball 25 to 28 times. It's just not going to happen, okay? But Derrick Henry in a rotation this year, Rashad Penny stays healthy. Boston Scott obviously will probably play special teams full, probably probably playing full-time special teams most likely if they sign a running back here regardless, unless somebody gets hurt and he'll go back into the lineup. But Kenneth Gainwell as well. So there's a nice lineup here, and you can, use these running backs, keep these defenses on their heels with all these different guys. Just imagine Derrick Henry getting to the second level of this Eagles offensive line. They wouldn't have to run one more QB sneak ever again. They wouldn't even have to do it. Or you could just tell Derrick Henry to grab Jalen Hurts and throw him over the pile. Whatever you want. Whatever floats your boat with it. That's what I think they're going to do. Red zone, they should be the best team in red zone next year with a running back like that. Not even just Derrick Henry, but Bijan Robinson as well, or Gibbs, whoever they get here. Okay, so obviously the rumors are floating around. So there's Derrick Henry news since yesterday at 3 a.m. There's 4 days left to the draft. I want to know your opinion on this whole situation. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Is it good? Is it bad? Are you kind of fantasizing about it a little bit? So I kind of told you everything that's been going on, but yeah, that's all. That's really it. I mean, Akbar hasn't said another thing on Twitter yet. It's been pretty quiet, and at least we know some of the background news of why Akbar is doing this, and the same agency as Derrick Henry is pretty cool. Obviously, AJ Brown is tweeting, is tweeting out too to get him to Philadelphia. I mean, it's just crazy, man. It's nuts. Like AJ Brown says, nobody has 22. Make it happen if it's possible. You know what I mean? Both of these guys played with each other, and like this would be awesome, man. So obviously, AJ Brown might have a little bit of a say in this. Like, let's just get him. Let's just make it work. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm not giving up that much for him. If it was up to me, I'd draft Bijan over Derrick Henry. And there's fans that want Derrick Henry really badly, but don't want to draft and waste a first-round pick on a running back. I get it. I totally get both sides on the flip of the coin. Like, I totally get the fans that don't like Bijan, but I'm telling you right now, if they draft Bijan Robinson, I think fans are going to change their minds once they start playing and start winning. Winning heals everything, and we all know that. And a really weak NFC, and the NFC East might be the best division this year again. So that's all I got to say about the situation. If you've lasted this long and believe the rumors at least a little bit and kind of are excited about Derrick Henry coming to the Eagles, hit the like button. If you guys haven't subscribed either, make sure you subscribe. We'll be streaming the whole entire draft next week, and so excited for it and can't wait for it. What is up Howie's sleeve? We're about to find out, and we'll probably be surprised once again. We got surprised last year, and we'll probably be surprised again this year. So what is Howie cooking? Something real good, and we're going to find out. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes what up, follow slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.